Struggling to earn 3 stars at Town Hall 15? Well, these are the 5 best attack strategies you can use after the June update to 3-star every base. Starting off at number 5 is the Electro Titan Smash. This uses both a Queen Charge to set up funneling and the Heroic Torch to move through the base. We're going to be starting off with our Queen Charge. This is using an Ice Golem to tank and soak up damage early on, while also providing a freeze, while also having the Queen with her Monolith Arrow. This is going to allow her to very easily deal with enemy heroes like it's nothing, and also deal with defenses like it's nothing. Otherwise, we do want to make sure that we use a balloon, like in this case, a rocket balloon, in order to look for any traps, and if there are any, this is a great way to soak a ton of them up. This way we're able to protect our healers a little bit more, and as we continue to work through the base, we can use any of our spells or super wall breakers in order to open the base up. Especially as she gets lower on HP with more damage coming in, she can use a rage spell and even a tome spell to redirect a lot of the damage away from her. Otherwise, you are just trying to make sure that you're protecting her as much as possible. Though she has a damage reduction built in with the equipment, so having an invisibility can be great in terms of protecting her. Otherwise though, she is there to kind of create funneling, so once she creates enough of a funnel, you can recall her out. Meanwhile, we also have the Dragon Duke being used with his Flame Blower and Rocket Backpack with 1 Earthquake. All he's doing here is just setting up funneling on that same side in order to control our Electro Titans through the base. This is why we have the Barbarian King moving in over on the top side, so we're able to have the Electro Titans and everything else work their way through the core. He's able to set up great funneling, which is exactly what you want. This is where then we have the Eternal Tome and the Heroic Torch to work our Electro Titans through the base. We even have the Sky Wagon to provide extra support for our healers. So as everything works around the base, we just want to make sure that we use our Queen's ability to spawn in the Giant, so we're able to add even more damage and tanking onto the base. Otherwise, just use your tome spells wherever, free spells to kind of mitigate a lot of damage, any leftover invisibility spells for the Queen, or maybe another ranged unit. And otherwise, you should be able to crush bases with Electro Titans so long as you have the Heroic Torch. And if you don't have the Monolith Arrow on the Archer Queen, you can always use a Royal Champion Charge instead. As for number 4, we have the Super Witch Smash. This is particularly strong because we are using the Fireball to clear out a solid funnel for our Super Witches. We're going to be setting up the said funnel with obviously the Grand Warden. We're using him to clear some outside buildings, but we can also use an Angry Spell. This will force him to go for defenses first, and since there are a bunch of trash buildings around him, he already has kind of anchor buildings around him, so you're able to send the Fireball in a lot better. That way, what you're able to do is clear out a funnel faster than you were if you just cleared out all those buildings beforehand. That way you can use your invisibility spells and send the Fireball in exactly where you want, where in this case, we get rid of the Eagle Artillery and the CC. This allows us to get a lot of really good value. Over on the other side though, we're using the Dragon Duke to remove a single Inferno and a few other buildings, but that way what we're able to do is clear that part of the base and create better funneling when we get there. That way we have the Archer Queen and the Super Witches actually working in. We have the Barbarian King to provide funneling again for our Super Witch push. That way we have a nice way of getting in. In this case though, we do take the Troop Launcher instead. Since the Super Witches are relatively slow, the Troop Launcher makes a little bit more sense. We can also provide additional support with balloons instead of having other ground troops in there. This way what we're able to do is protect everything as all the Super Witches, the big boys, and the heroes work their way through the core of the base. We can use rage spells to power them up, even a jump spell in order to get them closer to the back end, and this overall will protect them just enough in order to get plenty of value as they continue to work around the base. Just make sure though that you have some cleanup troops left, but otherwise this attack will be a lot better for you. When you're using the Angry Spell with the Grand Warden, it should speed things up and allow you to get a safer Fireball in much more reliably. With number 3, we have the Super Bowler Smash. This, again, utilizes the Queen Charge alongside the Heroic Torch with the Super Bowlers to smash bases. We're going to be starting off with that said Queen Charge, using the Monolith Arrow in order to move in, but we want to make sure that we're controlling where she goes. So using a Yeti on one side in order to funnel out a few defenses to control pathing, and the Baby Dragon to funnel trash buildings on the outside, we're able to get the Archer Queen to go into the base. Now, we're not going in for the Inferno, we're actually going in for the Scatter Shot. So this allows us to have really good pathing. In this case, we can obviously use a Rage spell in order to power up our Queen, make sure that she's doing enough damage and staying alive with the healers underneath the Rage. Otherwise, we can use our invisibility spells to do the same thing, but once we have enough of a funnel set, we can recall her out even if we lose out on a healer. Otherwise, we're going to funnel the other Scattershot compartment with the Dragon Duke, again using the Rocket Backpack. It's just that useful here at Town Hall 15, but with an Angry spell, we're able to control him alongside an Invis, and with the Flame Blower, we can clear plenty of value. This then allows us to use our Barbarian King from the top side of the base alongside with the Archer Queen, the Super Bowlers, and obviously support from things like the Apprentice Warden, etc. Overall, we have tome spells to redirect a lot of damage, especially from things like Expos, and as we continue to work into the core of the base, we're going to use the Barbarian King's ability in order to clear out a few buildings. That way we can get the Skywagon and the Super Bowlers in more reliably, where we can also use the Eternal Tome and the Heroic Torch. We have a Rage spell at the ready for them, and this powers them up tenfold, making them so much stronger. And obviously having free spells are really useful too. This is just a very powerful strategy, and so long as you have good pathing for the Super Bowlers, they can absolutely crush bases like it's nothing. Even if you do lose out on the Grand Warden, which you shouldn't really worry about, because after his Torch and Eternal Tome go away, he's kind of useless. Otherwise, the Super Bowlers should have more than enough power to clear back-end defenses, and as long as you have other things like the Archer Queen, the Giant, maybe a Electro Titan from your CC, you should be able to absolutely crush bases like it's nothing with the Super Bowlers. With number 2, we have the Root Rider Smash. This is a super strong army still, with the Royal Champion Charge and the Dragon Duke being able to clear value. Otherwise, we're going to be using the rocket balloons in order to control the funneling of our Royal Champion before we get started. This way, as she works in, we're able to use our invisibility spells to protect her every 4 seconds. Keep in mind that we don't have the Spirit Fox at Town Hall 15, so we're gonna have to use those invisibility spells back to back, especially as we get closer to the defensive CC. This is going to allow us to keep her hidden without luring out much of the CC, but also still setting up a good funnel so we can recall her out. This then allows us to set up funneling over on the other side with the Archer Queen and her abilities, while using the Dragon Duke underneath the effects of the Angry spell to get plenty of value like the Rage spell tower. Now, this does have a bit of a byproduct of him working in with the Root Riders when I didn't really want that, but that is completely fine, because we have the Root Riders, the Valkyries, obviously the healers, the Warden, and obviously the Skywagon and Royal Champion to work themselves around. Now, in this case, we have a really good funnel set from the Royal Champion, so as we're working in, we're able to use any of our freeze or tome spells to mitigate a lot of damage, and we can also use the Overgrowth spell to control pathing, where we didn't get necessarily great value, but it was better and more than enough to control the pathing of everything. This way, we have the Eternal Tome to protect all of our units, especially ones going towards the Town Hall, so we can protect them from the Town Hall poison. The Royal Champion also has her ability, so she can clear defenses from a distance, and otherwise, so long as you can clear through some core defenses, including the scatter shots, you should be able to crush bases like it's nothing. Root Riders are not that difficult to use, and so long as you can create a good funnel and possibly get better value than I did with the Overgrowth, you should be able to crush bases more often than not. And lastly, at number 1 is the Hydra. This is a very powerful strategy, especially when you can still use the Giant Arrow Rocket Backpack strategy. We're going to be starting off, obviously, with the Dragon Duke, where we're using, again, the Angry Spell. It just works really well here at Town Hall 15 with the Rocket Backpack, but we're able to use that with the Flame Blower to get plenty of value early on, and with 3 Earthquake spells, we can clear multiple buildings, including the CC and in the Monolith, but we did lose out on the CC, but that's completely fine. So the Queen and the Duke are clearing up the top side while we're using a few rocket balloons to funnel and control and keep everything separate. So the dragons go through the bottom and the heroes stay on top. This allows our dragons to be sent in alongside the Grand Warden and the Minion Prince, while we also have the Sky Wagon to provide support for them. We additionally have the Dragon Riders working in right behind in order for them to start focusing on defenses. We can use an Overgrowth over on the Town Hall to mitigate a lot of damage while also controlling the pathing of all of our dragons and Dragon Riders. We can use a Rage spell alongside the Eternal Tome and Healing Tome to protect everything, and even the Dark Orb from the Minion Prince in order to slow down a ton of defenses like the Scatter Shot and Air Defense. Otherwise, any leftover spells like Freeze can be used specifically for something like maybe the Archer Queen to remove the Town Hall, or on the Air Defense, and you even have a leftover Rage spell, you can use that really anywhere. It doesn't really matter. It's a bit overkill in this case, but like it's going to be able to easily crush bases like it's nothing. Now, no matter the attack strategy you choose here, these are really good at just demolishing Town Hall 15 bases, and if you want to take them to higher Town Hall levels, you are able to do so with great success, even within modifiers. But if you do want to check out a thrower strategy that is incredibly powerful right now, I recommend checking out this video right here, but YouTube says you may want to prefer this one instead.